Hey peeps, what's up? My name is Gladdy from Heart Take the Wheel, and today you are watching not another episode of Free for Thursday. Today I'm talking about Social Media Marketing World 2019. I just came back from Social Media Marketing World and I wanted to share my takeaways while it's fresh and see if y'all can benefit from it. And yeah, so we're gonna dive in. If you are at all interested in my experiences, my overall observances, takeaways of a social media marketing world, then stick around. I have 9 for you. Number 1 takeaway from Social Media Marketing World 2019 was to wear comfy shoes. I saw a lot of people who were kind of catering towards their feet issues. Now, everyone knows that in big events, you should come prepared. And for most events like WPPI, I have a video somewhere about that. That's a photographer's convention. That one I feel it's way easier to come prepared as far as dressing super comfy, because you can show up just like in sneakers and in workout gear and not like it be a problem. But at Social Media Marketing World, it's kind of like has a more professional appearance vibe. You feel like you need to show up ready to market and network your business because there's a lot of opportunity for that. So you kind of feel obligated to show up in attire, professional attire. I just strongly encourage you to find a way to do that while you're on your feet all day, while you're walking to and from restaurants maybe, jumping in and out of Ubers. The convention center is large. If you're trying to maybe go get a coffee down at the other end, which is something we did, then you're going to want to be in comfortable shoes. So find an appropriate outfit that still shows kind of professional and also can be manipulated to be super comfy for you. So find something that's a win-win. It's not brand new advice, but I felt the need to bring it up because even though a lot of people were warned, even though we had an app with everyone suggesting people to wear sneakers and flats and stuff, people still showed up and had problems. So I still feel like the news needs to be continually shared. All right, number 2 takeaway from Social Media Marketing World 2019 would be business cards. I have a lot to say about this. So I brought a box of brand new business cards. This is all one of the ways that you receive them, right? In the mail, you buy like 100, 250, whatever you buy a box of business cards, and it's easier to transport them just the way they showed up in the mail, right? Yes and no. So I have some tips, advice, and takeaways about business cards. 1, you don't really need them. A lot of people didn't ask for business cards. They asked for your LinkedIn or your Instagram. LinkedIn was more popular at this event. So at WPPI, the photographers event, that one is more popular to show up and just exchange Instagram handles. So being prepared with exchanging contact info and a digital platform is likely going to be more popular. Also, the app that was provided for our event had a very fun way to exchange contact info as well. So some events provide that digital option for you, and you can take pictures of people's business cards with it and all that jazz. I brought a bunch because I wasn't sure. I did have people who did ask for them. I did give away a small handful of them, but taking that into consideration, next time I would probably just bring a small stack, and I think that would have been more than enough because most people did just connect via LinkedIn or Instagram. Also, not so great to bring these on your carry-on. So TSA seems to think this is very suspicious. Very dangerous, these business cards. And I'm not even kidding. I know that it sounds like a joke, but I'm not. So both to and from my trip, I had people who, I had TSA stop me and have to securely check my bag to see what the hell I was concealing in this little box, because it shows up very quote-unquote suspicious on the scan. So they will most likely check your bag, and it takes you a little longer to get through TSA if you're in a hurry. Plan to not bring a box of business cards. So if you're bringing just smaller stacks and maybe scatter them around or something, or just bring a small stack, it's probably a little easier for them to figure out what is in your bag versus a giant box of business cards. Number 3 would be how organized the event was. I definitely took quick note of that. There's so many things I'd like to touch on here, but I've been to a few other conventions, and I've never seen one quite as organized as Social Media Marketing World is. So for one example, that app that they use, it's not even like their own app, it's a big app for this purpose, but it's designed for this purpose, and they used it wisely. People were connecting on there well before the event, like a week or even 2 weeks before the event. People were connecting on this app and making new connections and making groups and learning what to do and how to prepare, and they were already exchanging information prior to the event even starting. Another thing would be the like hype squads and stuff. So there were like a lot of volunteers and workers for the event. That definitely made the experience very engaging, very exciting. Like for one day we saw, as people were coming in, there was like this whole group of people making noise and jumping and doing tricks and stuff and giving people high fives and being, you know, very excited that you walked in the door just then to this event. So it's very cool. They had arranged where certain people in certain like distinguishing, you know, clothing were there for your, you know, help for you. And if you walked up to them saying, hey, I'm looking for this or something, their job was to connect you with the right people, to put you in the right place so that you can get what you need out of the event. So that was fantastic. Also, I noticed a lot of people, workers and stuff that are volunteers, had these signs up at depending on what was going on. So no matter if you're on the app or you're listening to people, you're paying attention to wherever you are, they still had these people walking around that says lunch break in 20 minutes, or lunch provided in this area, or next session starts in 20 minutes, or next session at 1:30, or you know, the keynote happening here at this time. And they were just walking around, you know, the whole convention center, so you could not miss them. So whether you were connected to the announcements on your email, on the app, on, you know, just listening to speakers who were giving this information out or not, you were still could not miss what was going on, because they had people with these like signs holding up, letting you know what was coming up next and where to go and what to do and what to expect. So that was really cool. I also really liked the tables. So they had, since it is a networking event, they facilitated it wonderfully. They had a bunch of tables in the networking plaza that were numbered. So it was very easy for you to connect with someone online or be like, oh, I'm here too, let's meet up. Okay, let's meet up at table 120. Let's meet up at table 141 or whatever. And you would show up at that table, and it wouldn't be any like, oh, am I in the right place? Is this the right Starbucks or whatever? And you could just show up and not like dilly-dally about how to meet up with a person. So that was really cool. They also had other tables that were designated for different niches or different topics of conversation, like leadership or photography. And so those were tables where you could just go sit down, and other people who were interested in talking about that topic could just join you. And then you could already be facilitating that topic of conversation. So really cool, really organized. Okay, number 4 is I went with someone that I had made a connection with on Instagram well before. Shout out to Erin. We had been connecting on Instagram for 2 years maybe? I don't know. Don't really count these kind of things. But we had been connected for a long time and made a deep connection where we had had Zoom calls and got to know each other very well. So whenever it came to going to this event, going with her was a no-brainer and was definitely something I would recommend for you. I say this because you're going to get the most out of your event if you are with somebody that's like-minded, that knows your business, that knows you, that you're open with, because then you two can take what you've seen or learned or whatever, go, you know, to dinner together, go to the, you know, hotel or Airbnb or whatever. You can be with each other and bounce ideas and figure out how to apply whatever it is you've seen or heard or whatever, and with each other about each other's business, because you already know each other well enough to know what's gonna fit or what's a good idea, or, you know, you could brainstorm. It's just freaking brilliant. It's taking everything you're consuming from this event to the next level and instantly brainstorming and applying it and talking it out with somebody who's already well acquainted with you and your business, and vice versa. Number 5 takeaway from this event would be that majority of all of the topics of conversation of classes and workshops had to do with video. Live video, YouTube, Twitch, etc., going live on Instagram, going live on Facebook, going live on what's it called? YouTube, starting a TV show on Facebook, or, you know, your YouTube channel, how to do this and that. And so it's like a lot of freaking classes about editing, your workflow, framework, how to make videos about your showing your authentic yourself, or how to make videos that showcase what you do and your expertise, and just so many classes and stuff about video. Obviously, Social Media Examiner thinks video is where it's at, and they wanted to get that point across to us. On that note of YouTube and etc., number 6 takeaway, the most asked question that we heard was about how, hey, my daughter, my son is super interested in YouTube, watches it all the time, and wants to start their own channel, wants to be a YouTuber. How can I go about and navigate that? Okay, this was like the most asked question. I swear almost every end of thing that had to do with video, people raised their hand and said, my so-and-so, or my daughter, my son, my whatever, wants to do YouTube, wants to be a YouTuber. How do I help them? How do I do that? Do I or don't I? Because they're 6 years old, they're 7 years old, they're 10. Like, what do I do and how do I navigate that? How do I help them? So that was a huge freaking question, very common. And I really liked one of the answers that I believe it was Zach King that said it. I could be wrong because I saw, like I said, a million classes about video, but I'm pretty sure he was the one who told the person who asked the question that the best kind of way to kind of facilitate their creative juices and their desire to be on YouTube was to have them create like home videos for now and make a party out of it, like a home viewing for their friends and family and stuff, because he thinks that is still putting them on the path of creating in that format, but still keeping you kind of like keeping their content and themselves a little more private and off of YouTube platform, not posting publicly at the moment. Number 7 takeaway had to do with the structure of what we considered were like good classes, and not really good and bad, but some of the ones that we considered were the ones that we liked, the ones we enjoyed, because we saw a lot. We kind of bounced around. Don't be afraid to hop out or this or whatever. But whenever we really said, oh, that was a great class, we noticed one common thread between all of that was a great class, classes. And that was that the presenters showcased like a reason or a case study or an example, a real life example of someone or something or whatever that has done that or is showcasing why their point is why their point is good, I guess. So whenever they are like, here's my 5 whatever, then instead of just listing them off, they were giving examples of how someone else did that, and and how that worked, or how a different person is showcasing that example, or how they themselves are doing that. There were so many of other classes that did that, and there were some classes that did not do that, and those are the ones we actually walked out of. So taking that to, just take that as a mental note if you're creating content for your own audience, to maybe find a way to showcase examples or, case studies, or just showing people why your point is a good point. Don't just tell them. It might be good to tell them why, behind each. So it has its place, not always. Sometimes we just need a list, right? Like a list of ideas and stuff. And other times we want to see what that means, see someone else doing it, and see why it worked or why it doesn't work for this person or that person, etc. So case studies, showing examples, social proof, etc. All of that kind of fits into this, and we took that as a big thing that we noted between all of our favorite classes. They all did that. They all showcased examples or case studies of their points. Number 8, takeaway from Social Media Marketing World 19 was that there were a lot of conflicting arguments, and this is a good thing. Because from one class to the next class, you are getting people telling you to do this and not do that, and then on the other class, it's do that and not do this, and it's like completely opposite. And it was fantastic, because you want that in an event, especially if you're someone who's new to that arena. Like if you're new to the photography world and you go to the WPPI and every one of them is kind of saying the same thing, then you will, as a new person, you're soaking up all this knowledge, and you're like, okay, then I will blindly follow that advice, right? Because you're a new person to the field, right? And so if you're a new person to social media marketing world, it wouldn't be any different if everyone is kind of saying the same argument. Everyone's saying, this is, my message. If they're all the same message, you are going to, as a new person to the field, blindly follow their advice. So it's powerful. It's very good whenever the event has all these different speakers and shows and workshops and classes that are all kind of got their own opinion, and they're got conflicting advice and they conflicting arguments, and they're each showcasing their point with, you know, like I said in the last one, where they're showing you know, why this works and why this works. So it's different, and that's good because that puts the ball in your court. As an attendee of this event, you now you physically cannot follow all of the advice blindly. You have to kind of choose. You have to kind of see like, oh, I understand this and I understand this. This seems like it's going to be a better fit for my current lifestyle, my current business, my current model of what I'm doing. This is more important to me. This makes sense to me. This also makes sense, but it's just not going to fit for me. This or that, or maybe taking this and that all together and making your own. You cannot blindly follow the advice at an event if all of it is kind of conflicting one another. You have to be able to consider it and sit on it and take it all in and figure out what's going to work for you. And it's really showcasing that there isn't really one right or wrong answer, but the ball is in your court, and I like it when events make it very clear that the ball is in your court. Now we're at number 9, guys. Number 9. Not everybody knows what you know. And that is something we, especially as solopreneurs, when you work at home, often alone, all the time, you tend to forget the value of what you know. You tend to forget that there are people out there who don't know what you know, even if it feels basic to you. And so you withhold teaching that. You withhold helping people within your realm of knowledge because you're like, everybody already knows that. And so here's the thing. Going to events like this is what helps you widen your scope and widen your perspective of what people do know and don't know, and how they value information from you, regardless if it's been covered before or not. You have an audience reach that's different from everybody else because everybody's different. Everyone's unique. Everyone has a different way of approaching that knowledge and teaching that knowledge and sharing that knowledge, and their audience is never going to be the same exact group of people as somebody else's. And so it's super valuable to share what you know. Now, I say that and we understand that, right? Especially when we go to events, it's very clear to us that what we know is valuable, and not everyone knows what we know, right? So we need to keep pursuing what we're doing here as an online entrepreneur, right? Or in person or whatever. However, you go back home from the event, right? And your widened, open world, your eyes wide open view of everything starts to shrink, starts to shrink more and more and more. And then you go and you're looking through this tiny tunnel and you're like, everybody knows everything I know. And you want to know how it gets that way so quickly? Well, for one, we're isolated at home, right? And two, we aren't watching a lot of content from creators who are teaching the same stuff we are, right? Because it doesn't make sense. We are watching creators who are teaching the next level up. We are watching people or reading or learning from people who are the next level up, right? We're looking at our people who are mentors to us because that's what we get value from, right? To grow and to learn and to gain more experience and learn more things, we're looking at people who are the next level up or more, right? And when we do that, we realize they know everything we know, right? So we can't teach it because look at that, they already know all that stuff. So we get so familiar with what our mentors being above us, in our mind, we feel like they know everything, that we don't want to teach it because that's so basic, everybody knows that, but we don't realize that we're that person to other people, right? And whenever we get that experience again and we realize, or someone sends us an email, I got one the other day and I was like, I can't believe it, like this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And then when you go to events like this, then your freaking tunnel gets big again and you realize, oh, there's people out there who don't know what I know, but there are people out there who do. So, and it gets smaller very quickly the more you isolate yourself at home and you continue to just look up at those people and learn from those people who you consider like mentors in your field. So that's why I think going to these types of events are super important, and surrounding yourself with people who need to learn from you is super important because the longer we are away from that perspective, the quicker it is for us to kind of come down to this little tunnel of ours where we're only seeing the people that we're learning from, and we're only considering that. We're like, I'm so small, right? I'm a small creator, and then we get, overwhelmed with that, and we don't feel like we have anything to offer. And so then we have to go to an event, and we have to realize, no, not everybody knows what we know, and that's so important. So I encourage you guys to book an event like this just to give you guys some new perspective, of course, learn and grow and all that great, wonderful stuff. And if you do happen to go to Social Media Marketing World 2020, I hope to see you there. And I invite you to check out Candidly Erin's blog, where she will be sharing some preparation tips for such an event, this one specifically. So go check that out. I'll leave the link in the description box, and I will see you in Thursday's video, which will be 3 things about something on Thursday. So 3 for Thursday is happening obviously on Thursday. I'll see you then. You can catch me in the meantime over on Insta. Bye.